The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove these side panels as well as these top panels to expose the heat exchanger and inner control wiring. So while we finish opening up that front panel, we're going to begin our visual inspection. We're going to check the gasket on this heat exchanger. We're going to look for any signs of water down here on the bottom, any heat scorching, anything outside of the boiler heat exchanger that could be an issue. Same thing, we're going to check up here in the control and the blower compartment. We're going to see if there's any scorched wires, make sure that all of our sensors are tight and not leaking, any signs of damage of any sort. Another simple thing to check over here is the air filter. This filter still looks brand new, so this is fine. Up there we have our gas valve coming from our gas train and the meter back there. So our water flow switch, our high limit switch right there, blower, control panel. So on this little tab right here, we have our first shut off switch, and then right here we have a service disconnect switch. Right here we have the motor that's attached to the pump. There's our gas regulator leading into our gas meter. Up here we have those isolation butterfly valves for the hot water supply and then hot water return. Down here later we're going to be checking the condensate neutralizing system right there coming out of the bottom of the flue gas. While Tyler's finishing up taking off that panel, these are our hot water pumps for this system right here. I'm going to go ahead and grease the bearings and inspect them as well. They're shut off because there's not a call for heat, but the motor has a Zerk fitting right there for greasing, as well as one on the back. And then the pumps right here have sealed bearings, so there's no need to grease those. Before we do anything else, we're going to keep the boiler on and we're going to go to the controller over here. Now these HVAC heating boilers are controlled by this rate pack temp tracker. We're going to go ahead and turn the stage on. That should be stage F. Mode on. So when you set it to mode on here, it's going to kick the boiler on to 100%. Pump is on. Inspect the pump coupling. Motor sounds fine, doesn't sound like it has any bad bearings. The blower on the boiler just turned on. Should be trying to ignite. There's the call for heat. So we should hear the gas valve open shortly, and that blue light should turn on once the burner is ignited. There's the gas valve. There's the burner. Now it's going to run up to max temperature. Ignition status burn. Inlet tip is 111, outlet's 116. So one of the first safeties we're going to test, over here on these rate packs, they have the low water cutoff. We're going to hold down the test button, This LED light right here should shut off, and that's going to trip the boiler. There's the light, and there the boiler tripped. You see we're popping an error code here. Service required. That LED is still off. The way we reset it, go ahead and hold the reset button right here. The light should turn back on. You may still have a code on your PIM control here. There's a reset button up top. Click the reset button, that code should be cleared. And then our service required light has gone off as well. Now, on these new rate packs with the screen, we're gonna run through user test again. Right here, go to the wrench icon, system tools. User test is off. So we're gonna go ahead and skip through those and get the boiler to ignite again. While the boiler cycles through the test, the next safety we're gonna test is up here to the left of the casing. This is our automatic high limit. It's currently set at 200 degrees. We're gonna lower that to 170 and verify that this unit trips once it hits that outlet temperature. $170. There's the pump. Go straight into ignition. While we wait for the pre-purge and the gas valve to ignite, we're gonna keep an eye on our inlet and outlet. Our gas valve just opened. Ignition try 1. Looks like the flame is proved. Moving on to burn. So remember, we set that high limit over there to 170. What we're looking to see is that once this outlet temp hits 170 plus or minus 5 degrees, that the boiler will trip on automatic high limit. We can see the firing rate ramping up. We're at probably about 80%. Outlet temp's getting close to 170. You'll hear that blower cycle off once that high limit's tripped. 174, 176. We should be tripping, and there it goes. Throw an alarm. Auto high limit switch. So our outlet temp got up to 183. We need to keep that in mind. If we're setting our high limit for 200 degrees, it looks like there's about a 13-degree differential before it trips. So if you want it set at 200, maybe set it at 190. Adjust our high limit back again. Go ahead and reset. See if it clears the code. We're gonna throw in user test one more time. And then the last safety we're gonna test is the low gas pressure. The way we're gonna test this, right here behind the blower, there is a ball valve on the outgoing side of the gas valve. While the boiler is running, we're going to slowly turn that ball valve until ultimately the boiler trips on low gas pressure. We're running through user test one more time. Call for heat is on. We're waiting for the boiler to go ahead and open that gas valve and ignite. Still in pre-purge. There's the gas valve. Wait for the flame to prove. claims approved, ignition's on burn. Tyler over here is gonna slowly isolate that ball valve. We're gonna monitor to make sure that the boiler shuts off on low gas pressure. And there, the boiler just tripped. Pre-purge. And it's off. So typically the way these boilers work is they're gonna try to ignite 3 times. After the 3rd time, it'll go into a soft lock. You're gonna have to reset it right here, but for our intents and purposes, this worked just fine. After you finish testing all your safety controls, the next thing you're going to want to check out is your condensate drain system for the flue gas. We come over here. This little container has a little piece of plastic tubing that connects to it, goes through and then drains into a floor drain. So the purpose of this container is it's full of acid neutralizing pebbles. That flue gas condensate is pretty acidic, so it flows through these pebbles, it neutralizes it, and then it allows it to drain into the floor drain. This was newly installed not too long ago, so we know it's fine. For some of our older units like that one over there, you want to crack them open, inspect the rocks on the inside, make sure they're not too degraded or not really dirty. Other than that, you can buy the rebuild kits for those. They're just bags of pebbles that you clean the old ones out, wash them out, and then put new ones in. For residential use, you should probably replace them like every 6 to 12 months, but for heavy commercial like this, we really replace them every 3 to 6 months, so quarterly to biannually. I like the improvements they made on here. Putting the glass and they also put a reset back there. The black is up. All right, now that we finished reassembling the boiler and putting all the panels back on, place the BMS system back on auto, we put the boiler back on auto over the controller, and this boiler's a standby now. That's it for how to perform quarterly PMs on these boilers. Stay tuned, we're gonna release how to do an annual.